Hey everyone, today we're diving into the absolute wild ride of a classic story, and honestly, we're gonna unpack some hidden secrets that completely flip the script on how we view our own weaknesses. We're breaking down a tale where the exact traits that society slaps a flaw label on, well, they end up becoming literal, life-saving superpowers. It's this brilliant masterclass in reframing who we are. I am so pumped to walk you through exactly how this unfolds. So get comfortable and let's just jump right into the magic.
So, what actually happens when a lazy dreamer, an absolute glutton, and a hypersensitive sleeper walk into a royal palace? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really bizarre joke, right? But this is literally the foundation of our explainer today. It instantly makes you wonder, how on earth could three total outcasts, people completely rejected by their families, survive the cutthroat, high-stakes world of a royal court? Well, the answer is pretty incredible, and it all kicks off with our main guy.
Section 1. The Boy Who Dreamed Big. Our story starts with Dinanath. He's this 20-year-old kid who absolutely, flat out, refuses to pick up the scissors and become a village barber like his dad.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because the contrast here is just wild. On one hand, you've got Dinanath's reality. He's a barber's son, getting yelled at by his parents day in and day out for being lazy, for avoiding work, basically for just sleeping his life away. But then, you look at his ambition. He confidently, with a totally straight face, declares he's going to the royal palace to marry Princess Madhubala. Right? No big deal. And after one particularly brutal scolding from his parents, that massive gap between his reality and his crazy dream finally pushes him over the edge. He storms out, vowing he is never coming back until he makes that dream a reality.
Section 2. Meeting the Magical Friends. So Dinanath hits the road, and pretty soon he runs into two highly unusual characters, who are, well, just as rejected by society as he is.
This is where it gets super fun. Think of them like a superhero squad, but kind of weird ones. First up, Dinanath runs into Kanu. Kanu's bizarre superpower, endless eating. I mean, the guy was literally kicked out of his house by his own father for eating like an elephant. But Dinanath, he pitches him a brilliant idea. Hey, come with me to the royal palace. The food there is limitless. Then they stumble upon Banu. Now, Banu is a hypersensitive sleeper. We're talking he wakes up if a leaf falls, if a fly buzzes, or literally if an ant just walks by. Society completely mocks him for it, but Dinanath promises him the absolute quietest, most perfect royal beds. Combine them with Dinanath's own quote-unquote power, this insane super hearing where he can catch whispers from miles away, and suddenly this trio of misfits is actually a seriously formidable team.
Section 3. The King's Impossible Challenge. Dinanath gathers his new crew and marches straight up to the king, making the boldest request ever. He wants to marry Princess Madhubala, based entirely on their unique magical talents.
And wow, do things escalate fast here. The king is definitely amused, but he's also fiercely protective of his daughter and his kingdom. So he agrees to give them a shot to prove these supposed skills, but he drops a terrifying ultimatum. He tells them, if I do not like the skills you show, I will chop off your heads. Bam! Just like that, the stakes go through the roof. It is no longer just about scoring a free buffet or a comfy mattress. It is literally ultimate victory or the executioner's block. No pressure, right?
Section 4. Passing the royal tests. To keep their heads attached to their shoulders, our trio has to survive 3 genuinely impossible challenges.
So here's the game plan they're up against. Step 1 is all on Kanu. He has to drain the entire royal kitchen. Step 2 falls to Banu, the infamous hidden hair test. And finally, Step 3 is the ultimate trial for Dinanath himself, the super hearing challenge. Let's break down exactly how they tackle these, one by one.
First to step up to the plate, literally, is Kanu. The king orders food to be brought out, expecting him to tap out early. But Kanu doesn't just eat, he inhales everything. I mean, plate after plate, dish after dish, the guy just does not stop. He single-handedly obliterates the entire royal food supply until the royal cook physically walks out, basically waving a white flag, saying there's absolutely nothing left. In a matter of minutes, Kanu's societal label of gluttony is reframed into this awe-inspiring magical feat that leaves the king completely speechless.
Now what about Banu? It's his turn to prove this extreme sensitivity of his. The king is super skeptical, right? So he orders this custom bed made with 7 of the plushest, most luxurious mattresses stacked on top of each other. But Banu? He just tosses and turns all night. He can't sleep a wink, complaining that something sharp is jabbing him. When the king finally comes to investigate, thinking Banu is faking it, what do they pull out? A single tiny strand of hair, tucked all the way down between the 6th and 7th mattresses. It's crazy. His extreme sensitivity, the exact thing that made him an outcast, is proven right then and there to be an undeniable, superhuman level of perception.
Section 5. A deadly assassination plot. 2 tests down, 1 to go. It's finally Dinanath's turn to step up, and guys, things are about to take a really dark turn.
See, the king is still doubting Dinanath. He's thinking, okay, super hearing isn't exactly as flashy as eating a whole kitchen or feeling a hair through 7 beds. But Dinanath closes his eyes and stretches his hearing far across the palace grounds, zeroing in on the royal horse stables. Now pause for a second and think about it. What could he possibly overhear in a dusty old stable that would instantly prove his worth to a monarch? What massive, life-changing secret is just hanging in the air right at that exact moment? Boom, here's the twist. Dinanath picks up the whispers of the king's own most trusted officials, the minister and the commander, and they are saying, "Tonight, we will kill the king in his sleep." Yeah, the very guys sworn to protect the king are actually plotting a violent coup for that exact night. Dinanath doesn't waste a single second. He immediately sprints to the throne to warn the king.
Let's break down how this brilliant sting operation actually goes down. That evening, Dinanath convinces the totally panicked king to let the 3 friends camp out in the royal bedchamber. Once nightfall hits, they set the trap, tucking dummies under the bedsheets so it looks like the king is sound asleep. Then, midnight strikes. Right on cue, just like Dinanath heard, the minister and commander burst into the room and violently attack the bed with their swords. And moments later, the king, who was hiding safely in the shadows the whole time, steps out and catches the traitors completely red-handed. Dinanath's super hearing literally just stopped a coup and saved the entire kingdom.
Section 6. The ultimate reward. As you can imagine, after a stunt like that, the king's entire attitude changes. Threats of execution are completely replaced by just overwhelming gratitude.
Talk about a massive payoff. The king happily agrees to Dinanath's original crazy request. Dinanath marries Princess Madhubala and officially becomes the heir to the throne. Kanu, he gets a permanent VIP pass to the palace kitchen with limitless food for the rest of his life. Banu finally gets the absolute peace, quiet, and perfect sleeping conditions he always craved. And above all, the kingdom is saved from total ruin. Every single friend got exactly what they were chasing, just by leaning hard into the very traits that made them weirdos.
You know, the really crucial takeaway here comes down to reframing our flaws. The whole story, these guys were carrying around labels like lazy, gluttonous, or oversensitive. But this narrative totally flips that on its head. It shows us that if you put those traits in the right environment and you back them up with a solid team, those so-called flaws aren't actually weaknesses at all. They're literally life-saving strengths.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Think about your own life. What flaw of yours, that quirk that maybe you or society has criticized in the past, might actually be your greatest hidden superpower? Maybe you just haven't found the right royal palace to unleash it in yet. Take a little time to reflect on that today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me to explore the secrets of this awesome story, and hey, keep discovering those hidden strengths of yours.